Hello and welcome YouTube and Grim Dawn community to one of my newest and freshest build highlight videos. This time it's gonna be the cold damage spammable Doombolt Witch Hunter. So this one is possible because of a conduit prefix that got introduced in patch 1.1.9.4. Similar to the Captain America build, right? This one is a conduit build, so not necessarily the most beginner friendly build. However, this does not require any mod items, so you do not have to play any mod for this. This is a standard vanilla build. The conduit's prefix gives you vitality and chaos to cold conversion to Doombolt, and also makes it spammable. That is amazing and has proven to be a pretty good, especially single target damage build. For Crucible it might not be the best, but for things like killing Ravager for example it's actually surprisingly good. The Witch Hunter class supports this very well if you play two swords or daggers, or like in general like two one-handers, because it does give you a lot of physical resistance, and the build will have decent percent cold damage, physical resistance from both classes, percent absorption from possession, percent damage reduction, debuff from the devotions as well. So it has like almost everything covered apart from maybe like flat absorption, but you can also make this decently-ish tanky even for the armor. So it's overall a pretty solid build and I do like it quite a bit. The build was able to clear basically everything in the main campaign of course, including all the dungeons. Did SR 65 to 66, killed Lokarr, and also the Ravager of Souls, because Doombolt is not impacted by fumble, right? Doombolt is not a projectile or not a meta hit, so it does not get impacted by impaired aim or by fumble, so you can just also defeat Ravager of Souls really smoothly with this character. Alright, so taking a look at the skill point allocation, this is a Witch Hunter, so an Occultist and an Outblade. In this case, the Occultist part is actually the main class because like we are using Doombolt as our main damage ability, right? So 21 out of 12 points in Doombolt, ideally you want of course 22 out of 12 points. That is however with my specific setup not quite possible, but there are other setups that can get to 22 out of 12 points. That does not necessarily mean more damage, because there are more things to factor in here for damage than just like the amount of skill points in the skill. But yeah, for my setup 21 out of 12 points. Then we have 1 point in Solar's Witchfire and 1 point in the second right. These are just there to, well, give us some flat chaos and vitality damage, which will be added to Doombolt actually, because we're using a helmet that has percent weapon damage to Doombolt, and then the conduit will convert that to cold damage. So like, this is basically flat cold damage, and this is also basically flat cold damage. The percent weapon damage on my like setup is not that high, that is like worth it to max these out. If you're playing a higher weapon damage, like percent weapon damage to Doombolt setup, like for example the one by Lucas Auerbach, then you can put more points here. It's like worth it to put more points here. But I think on my setup it is not. 1 point of Curse of Reality, 12 points of Vulnerability, for 27% elemental resistance reduction, which means also cold resistance reduction, at 23 points of Blood of the Reek just for like OA, and the healing, and Aspect of the Guardian at 12 out of 12 points for 12% Physrus and 100% poison resistance. Now let's move over to the Nightblade tree, and we're dual wielding, alright, so dual blades at 18 points for 13% physical resistance and also percent cold damage. Then we have 10 points in the Veil of Shadow and 14 points into Night's Chill. This is there for, again, like 29% cold resistance reduction, right? You want as much of that as possible. 19 out of 12 points with Infinite Burst. You want at least 12 or 15 points. I did put this up to max because I was actually lacking offensive ability, and this does give you offensive ability, so yeah, I had to put as many points as possible here. 12 out of 12 points in Shadow Dance for the DA and Dodge, right? 70 points at Elemental Awakening for like flat Frostburn, percent elemental, and percent Frostburn damage, as well as elemental resistances. If you are, again, like using more percent weapon damage on your Doombolt, then it is probably better to like put the points into the flat damage here and here, rather than as many points into like Elemental Awakening or like into Pneumatic Burst. 1 point in Shadow Strike, just to like zoom around a little bit more. It's not really needed in combat, you don't need to like press this ever when you're like face tanking anything or like fighting something. It's literally only there for movement, nothing else. 12 out of 12 points in Phantasmal Armor. This is really great because it gives you like 152 flat armor, which will be then, well, like increased by other like percent armor stats. 30% Pierce Rust, Freeze Rust, and Petrify Rust is really nice as well overall defensively. 3 points Anatomy of Murder, or rather just like a 1 pointer. I mean, If you're playing Bleed or Vitality or any other like Cunning scaling damage triangle, then this should be at 11 points at least. On this build, 1 point is enough because, I mean, yeah, 1 point is still fine for like 6% damage to humans and 8% cunning. That does still like help out a bit, but yeah, it's not really worth it to put more than 1 point here. Same actually goes for Merciless Repertoire. This is percent cold damage, so you might think it's better to like put more points here. However, it's also only flat poison damage, and we do not convert really any poison damage to cold, so it's not really like that amazing. 1 point in Blade Spurs as well, just there to like proc the Blizzard Devotion. And speaking of devotions, these are the devotions that I'm playing here. So tier 3 is Yugo, right? We don't have any percent damage reduction debuff on this build yet. So Yugo fits perfectly because it has that 16% damage reduction. And also it's generally a very nice tier 3 like percent cold damage devotion, right? Then of course every single cold build needs to play Rumor, right? This is mandatory because of the percent resistance reduction on this, like 23% cold resistance reduction. And then also we're playing Elemental Storm for basically the same reason, because it's also like mandatory to have at least one of these flat resistance reduction abilities. This one reduces 32 elemental resistances of all enemies that are getting hit by this Elemental Storm proc at least. And yeah, we don't have that from any other source, so we have to play Elemental Storm. I mean, you could also play something like Revenant if you need more casting speed. On my setup, I do not need more casting speed, so Elemental Storm is like way better here. Then also, like for defense, actually no, there's one more offensive thing here, right? Blizzard. This was bound to Blade Spirits. It's really nice for damage as well. We're not playing the Leviathan Devotion, so Blizzard is like the next best thing for offense after Leviathan. So we're playing Blizzard instead, at least. And the remaining nodes here are actually like a mix of defense and just filler, and also mostly trying to get casting speed, right? We have Spider for green and casting speed, we have Raven for offensive ability, we have Hawk for offensive ability, we have Quill for green and purple, we have Viper for red and blue, and also that like percent reduced elemental resistance debuff, which actually does work via Doombolt because, well, we are using weapon damage on our Doombolt. Then we have 3 points Wendigo. This can be like taken at the very end for percent casting speed and percent physical resistance. We have Jackal for red and total speed and phys res, so also like casting speed and phys res basically, and the red affinity. And then also like for defense, I mean, you can take, actually no, you can't take Watcher, but you could take like Panther and put like the 5th point somewhere else, but I chose to actually go for Turtle. Turtle on this test patch now has 4% phys res as well, so this one got buffed. And I mean, Witch Hunter is a really nice class for stacking physical resistance, so Tortoise fits pretty well, I think. You could of course also always try to play Ghoul, right? Ghoul is also really nice, as long as you have physical resistance. I mean, as long as you have lifesteal rather. Or rather, as long as you have weapon damage, because then the lifesteal of Ghoul works for that weapon damage, right? But yeah, this build was able to defeat Ravager even without Ghoul, so yeah, I mean, do you really need Ghoul? I mean, Ghoul is nice, right? I do like the new Turtle as well, though. Like, it procs at 50% health, so like it procs even earlier than Ghoul. And it has Phys res now as well, like permanently, whereas this one is only like Phys res on demand, or like Phys res when does procs, right? I mean, both are good though. Let's talk about the gear, right? We have the Conduit of Eldritch Whispers with the very specific, this is a 1 out of 11 chance to get this when you craft this item at the smith, with the specific prefix that has the, well, conversion to cold damage Doombolt, right? So this one slows movement on Doombolt, has Chaos to cold and Wit to cold conversion to Doombolt. So all vitality and chaos damage on the skill itself, as well as all chaos and vitality damage that gets added to the skill via percent weapon damage, will be converted to cold damage, right? This also makes Doombolt spammable, so like this enables the build in the first place. Without this you cannot play this build, and then, well, like reduces damage of Doombolt to like balance it being spammable, and also like gives you less skill energy cost reduction. If you look at like the energy consumption, I mean, it's, you have to use energy pots, yes, but it's totally fine, right? It's not like you ever like run out of energy at all, because also we're using a arcane spark component on the metal to also leech energy with every single hit. Now, what else supports Doombolt? What else is like mandatory to support the Doombolt? The Rift Warp Grasp, I think, is basically mandatory. This one also reduces the skill energy cost even further, gives you huge flat damage to Doombolt, which gets converted to cold damage, right? It has a CDR to Doombolt, that one doesn't matter, that part is useless, right? But it also has like +2 skill points to Doombolt, which is more damage. The flat damage, the flat chaos damage is more damage. +2 to possession is really nice for like absorption. And it does not have any cold damage, of course, but it's still like mandatory for Doombolt here. Then we have the Wraith Walkers as boots. These are like just generic cold boots. They have a pretty nice like Wraith Walk proc whenever you get hit, right? You get another like 30% chance to dodge, which is really nice because it like stacks additively with Kinetic Burst. So you can like really get decent dodge chance on a build like this. For the metal, we're playing the Just Undying Oath metal. This will add like vitality damage to Blood Reek and cold damage to Kinetic Burst. These are both like flat damage values, so they will again be added to Doombolt via the weapon damage, which actually we do get from the Mask of the Harbinger, right? This is not a cold damage item at all, but it just is there for 80% weapon damage to Doombolt, right? There was no other like item you can fit in here really. For the Doombolt to just like give yourself weapon damage. There are some gloves that also give you like weapon damage, but those convert, I believe, to vitality or to chaos actually. So like you can't use them with like cold Doombolt. And then there are also like 2 other weapons. Like you could do like one of the two-handers, right? There's the ranged gun from the Harbinger set, and then there's also the Mythical Wrath of Tenebris. That's the one that Lokarr is using in his build. Those are alternatives for sure. But I think if you're using a two-hander, then it's probably better to not play a Nightblade secondary, because Nightblades are really nice when you dual wield because of the like dual blades ability here. And for Nightblade there are really nice like one-handers as well, like for example the Ugnenborg Chill Strife, right, has +2 to Night's Chill, huge cold % damage. You can get even more, right? I have like a Rune Castles of Celerity here. Celerity obviously gives me insane casting speed, but you can get like, I don't know, Rune Castles of Shattering or like Frostbitten of Shattering or something like that, right? You can get like double rare cold damage prefix and affix, prefix and suffix, and then you can have like, I don't know, up to 500% cold damage basically on these, which is absolutely insane, right? Of course they're not that easy to get, but if you have them, right, if you are lucky enough to get one of those, then these are absolutely insane. Another alternative, if you don't have a Shield Stripe, is to just use 2 of the Signs of Bitter Winds. I'm using 1 here. I think 1 is a must-have. 2 if you don't have a good Chill Strife, or not have a usable Chill Strife, but always at least 1, because this one also gives you 8% more Fizz Rest to Pneumatic Burst, +3 to Pneumatic Burst, and also has the Bitter Winds proc, right? The Bitter Winds proc has an additional 10% cold resistance reduction. If you use 2 of these will not stack, these 2 procs. However, you will have a higher chance to proc it in the first place, right? But like for overall better effective resistance reduction, it's better to use 1 Chill Strife and 1 Sign, because these 2 together would give you 18% resistance reduction, whereas 2 Signs only give you 10% total, right? The reason why the Sign is still really good though, even as 2 off if you don't have a good Chill Strife, is because it has already % cold damage and casting speed, whereas the Chill Strife, you need like either a Celerity suffix to get the casting speed, or you need like proper rare cold damage affixes to actually get insane cold damage, like % cold damage on this, to like offset not having the casting speed on this weapon. You get more resistance reduction from the Band of Eternal Haunt, right? This is one of the best rings to use here. This also has casting speed, Vital Rest, Chaos Rest, % cold damage, and another 10% cold resistance reduction on the Eternal Haunt proc. Really nice. The other ring that I'm using here is actually a Solal Warped Seal. This has no cold damage whatsoever, right? But it has % offensive ability, and even more importantly, it has +2 to Doombolt. This is a faction ring, so super duper easy to get. Which actually I guess doesn't really matter, because the build is pretty much determined by the Conduit, and if you don't have this, you can't play it, and that already doesn't make this like a very beginner-friendly build in the first place. But yeah, at least this ring is easy to get, right? And even though it doesn't give you any cold damage, right, % cold damage, the +2 to Doombolt puts Doombolt from 19 points to 21 points here, and that is really good. I didn't think this is gonna be that good, but it was actually better than the other ring that I was using here earlier. So yeah, this one it is, for now at least. Fate Weaver's Raiment chest is like the generic caster chest. You can use in pretty much any build, at least that has like Aether or Elemental damage on it. Cold damage is elemental damage in a way, so this works here perfectly. And yeah, if you have like an open chest slot, this is very, very nice. For shoulders, this is where we get another +3 to Doombolt. You can either use Benjar's shoulder guards, or you could also use Logorian's shoulder guards, right? Both of those work. I would say use the one that fits your build better. Use the one whose affixes, or like for which you have better affixes in your stash, right? Both are good. The Logorian shoulder guards definitely give you like more offensive ability and defensive ability. Especially the offensive ability is very nice to have on a build like this, because Doombolt does scale pretty well off crit damage as well. But yeah, Benjar's does have Fizz Res, right? So that is also really, really nice, and also have like more HP or something like that in overall. What have we not talked about yet? We have not talked about the pants, right? Pants are Mage Guard leg guards. These are just generic cold damage pants here. You can use definitely like completely different pants here as well. Like these aren't mandatory at all. They're just there for like the Fizz Res, right? 5% Fizz Res, 8th Res, Elemental Res, +3 Elemental Awakening. The +2 Shadow Strike literally doesn't matter at all. So yeah, these can be changed out to something else for sure. They also have health though, so like for a squishy Witch Hunter class, it is pretty decent to have these. But yeah, they're not mandatory at all. You can like use different green pants here instead as well. If you have some others that have like health, Fizz Res, offensive ability maybe, or like the right resistances on top, like that could be potentially way better than this one. Serenity Heretic, right? +1 all skills. When in doubt, Serenity out. One of the most generic relics you can craft in this entire game, but still solid, especially for a like build that does not have a like dedicated relic to it really, or like a combination of class plus damage type that fits the build. In this case, it would be you want Occultist, right? You want +1 Occultist for the Doombolt skills, and you want cold damage, but I think there is no like cold damage Occultist relic at all, so. Or elemental one doesn't exist either, so Serenity is pretty decent overall. And it does help like to have one additional like defensive proc, because Witch Hunter might not overall be the tankiest class in the game, so it's always nice to have like another circuit breaker here. The belt is a Gargoyle Waistguard, of course, right? This is very, very nice for pretty much any cold damage Nightblade. Vitality to cold conversion as well, which we don't really need at all, but whatever. I got an Imperious of Drangul proc here, FX combination here, which gives me Pierce Rust, Cold Rust, 8th Rust, Slow Rust, and then like increase armor or ADA. Pretty decent here. You can of course also again use a different belt here. I'm not you could also like use a +1 Occultist belt, I would say. There is none with cold damage again, but if you can find one that also like fixes your resistances in a way, or like that fits your build, then it would be totally fine to use as well, and also actually give you that last 22 point, like the 22nd point in Doombolt. There we go. Alright, that would be really good as well, actually. But yeah, that's gonna be it for this build, right? Or rather for the item highlight here. Let's check out the build in action. Okay. What is this buff, by the way? This playstyle, man, it's a little weird.
I am sorry, my chosen. Korvac has seen into your heart.
Actually, not as quick as I thought it would be. Alright, let's kill Lokarr. Let's kill Theoden. Let's kill Korvac here, right? Hold down one button, yep. Who's the doom spammer now? Right? Doom losing to Doombolt. No. It's DPS. I guess it's fine. That's usually all you have to do. Yeah, I mean, totems are really good as well. Like, totems are better than like random packs because like totems usually have an even higher like hero density than packs, and also the totems themselves drop it on top, right? Like if you wanna like farm random legendaries in the main campaign, I think totems are way better. Shit, wait, what procs are a thing here? Oh, it's fucking Blade Spirits, right? I forgot about Blade Spirits. Like Doombolt shouldn't proc Aurora, right? Maybe it does. Not sure. Anyway, Gargle Ball. Gargle Balls. Dude, I can like totally like see Al Kaiser saying like Gargle Balls when he sees this boss, right? Or something like that. I'm pretty sure he like did the spots at some point as well. Why does it feel so bad here? Oh my god, I'm taking damage. I'm taking damage. CDPS. I also like tagged plants at the start, right? Because I was like afraid of the RR debuff. Eh. Trash build. Alright. Let's see how we fare against the Magi's. Oh, Magi's after us again. I think we have like good Fizzlers, right? Alright, let's see if we can face this. Might be actually a little Monka here. I was gonna say I'm fine, but I wasn't quite fine. Okay, why was I not fine? Because in the end I got freaking petrified, right? And I had 36 petrified rest only. That was pretty close. Shit. Yeah, I need to move there. I mean, if you move, you're totally fine, right? Getting petrified rest is pretty hard in Grim Dawn, honestly. Alright, Morganath. Let's go. Easy DPS. Fucking debuffs. Stop it. Dodge the projectiles, right? Dodge. Oh my god. Imagine dodging, right? Alright, there we go. We have damage now. Damage. Still damage. No damage anymore. Alright. This was certainly quicker than the Paladin there, right? Then again, on the Paladin I didn't even like trying to dodge any projectiles. Bzz, 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 bzz. Alright, we just pop the Drangul here and that's it, right? Let's see. We will have to dodge probably some like, projectiles here. Alright, and that's gonna be it for me for this video. Thanks so much everybody for watching. Make sure to check out the other performance videos for this character as well, like the Ravager, the full Ravager fight, Crucible 150 to 170 run as well on Gladiator difficulty, as well as the full Shadowrealm 65 to 66 run. I hope you see you around on the next video, and thank you so much everybody for watching, and thank you also for your support on YouTube, Twitch, Patreon, and so on. I'll see you around. Take care, guys.